Gym Makers presents the Beyond Brilliant broadcast, where we empower ladies and leaders to shine in their brilliant zone. Join your hosts, Dr. Nicole Steele and Dr. D. Parker, as they share their secrets to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and unleash your courage. If you're ready to get connected, gain insight, spark your creativity, be inspired, and embrace your brilliance, grab a pen and a friend, and let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Brilliant, where we empower ladies and leaders to gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to shine in their brilliant zone, honey. I am Dr. DeYonne Parker, and I'm the courage catalyst, that hand on your back that pushes you out of your comfort zone all the way into your courage zone. And I'm joined by the always fantastic, shiny, and bright, my purpose partner, Dr. Nicole Steele. Tell the people, hey, girl.
Hello, everyone. As she said, I am Dr. Nicole Steele, the confidence coach, and I am that voice in your ear reminding you of who and whose you are. Boy, oh boy, Dr. D, I tell you, from show to show, I just think it can't get better because it does. It just keeps getting better and better and better. I know during our last episode, we had a fabulous, brilliant sister, an authoress, a business professional, doing incredible things, Dr. Rhonda Anderson. But today, she brought a friend. So I can't wait for you to tell them who we have joining us today. We are in for a treat.
So excited. Now, honey, when we talk about go grab a pen and a friend, Dr. Rhonda really did. She went and grabbed a friend because she was throwing gems at us on the last episode, all about her book, honey. She was giving us all of the 411 on gold diggers. And if you missed that episode, please go back and watch it because she dropped some of the principles that were in her book. She was throwing some stuff at us. Now, she had the nerve to go get a fellow gold digger, honey. Her name, you see her, this other beautiful beauty, brilliant beauty. Her name is Deirdra Cox. Now listen, I looked over this fabulous woman's resume, her bio. I stalked her, and I said, there is no way that I'm going to attempt to try and do her justice. So I would like to welcome you, Deirdra, to the show. And please introduce yourself. And then we're going to come to you, Dr. Rhonda, and have you reintroduce yourself. So Deirdra, the floor is yours. Please tell us who you are, what you do, and what your brilliance is.
So I am Deirdra Annette Gibson Cox, because you got to take in all the lineage, right? So wherever God's brought you through and to, you got to be able to acknowledge all of that. So Deirdra Annette Gibson, that was what my mama named me. That's what my granddaddy loved me for. That's what my grandmama loved me for, right? And then the Cox was when God brought me, he brought my husband to find me. So ladies, I just want you to hear this, right? So the Bible says, God tells us that the man who finds a wife finds a good thing. So my husband, David Cox, he found a good thing. So that's who I am. I'm the mother of Angel Louise Cox and Noah Adam Gibson. So that's who I really am, right? And I'm a woman with a past, a woman with some issues. I'm a woman who has been gracefully broken, and I'm a woman who God has purposed to carry a mantle. And the mantle that God has called me to carry is the mantle of economic development. So what's that mean, right? So economic development, each of us has been designed. God said he desires that we prosper. So prosperity produces multiplication. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
The multiplication, there's some dollars associated with that, right? Mm-hmm. There's some family legacy passing associated with that, right? Mm-hmm. there's some mental, emotional development and spiritual emotional development that's associated with that. So we have to be able to line ourselves up with that. So that's who I am. I'm a woman, again, gracefully broken, and I'm here to support other women in their journey to being the Proverbs 31 woman they were designed to be. Because let's face it, when you give your life to Christ, he promises that all things are new. When you give your life to him, he promises that he will resurrect those dead places. He met the woman at the well, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He said that he who has begun a perfect work won't stop until Jesus comes back. So what we get to do, and what I'm graced by God to do, is to be able to come into this worldly system and disrupt it.
Come on.
With the power of God, because it's his power. It's his purpose. It's his provision that brings us into the places and spaces where he sits us at a table in front of our enemies, and he'll turn some things around. And Dr. Rhonda and I can tell you, in the last 2 years the last 2 years we've been together, God has completely blown our minds as to what he's done and what he's called us to do. So we're confident. Dr. Rhonda, I'm looking at you. Are we confident?
Looking at you. Yes, ma'am.
I love
it. So partners, we got to look at each other. So I'm looking at her right now on this quadrant of my screen, and I am confident in this. God has called us to do this, and he's called us to be with you all here today. He's called us to release this anointing. So the work that we do is all about economic development. It's all about preparing and equipping people and families to be the very best that they're supposed to be, so that they don't leave anything on the table. So when you lay it down, you drop the mic. When you drop the mic, the entire family is transformed and changed. So then we have to bring it back into what it is and what circle of influence we're in. So I'm in the corporate circle, right? Rhonda and I are in the corporate circle. She's in that post secondary education circle. So we have to be able to tie what does mental health, physical wellness, what does workforce development, what is educational attainment, what is financial literacy, what do all those things mean as it relates to someone being the very best they can be? So that's the journey that we're on, to equip families and communities and businesses and continents to be the very best that they can be, through the portal of the anatomy of sustainability. That's what we call it, the anatomy of sustainability. So that's what we're all about.
Oh my goodness. Okay, boom, gems dropped, and it if you did, first of all, you just need to know how to introduce yourself. That is a lesson on how to introduce yourself and who you are and what you do. That is, please take that as a template. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Rhonda, do you want to just briefly say who you are again? Remind them of who you are.
Well, hello, Beyond Brilliant Network ladies. I was with you guys last session. And so basically, I am the Director of Curriculum and Program Planning for Community Sustainability Enterprise. Been working with Ms. Cox since 2015. I have a very extensive background in higher education administration and leadership and academia, and have several years of experience as a professional life coach. We create programming that is all about transformation. It's not about not seeing people go higher. That's what we want. You know, we want elevation out of everything that we do. And that's always the goal. How can we transform the people we're serving? So,
amen. Boom and boom. Now listen, we are going to have an amazing conversation with these two amazing ladies. These gems, honey, that they are going to drop is going to be so serious. Now, the first one that we are going to drop, because we're going to go to a commercial in just a second, but I want you to hear this question. When we come back, they're going to answer this question. We're going to really talk about some things. We talked about goals. We talked about personal goals, professional goals. We talked about spiritual goals. We talked about setting goals. We are going to ask these ladies, what is really the impact and strategy behind setting amazing, effective business goals with one another in a partnership, and how it should be taken care of? We're going to talk about that when we come right back. Okay? Don't go anywhere.
Are you stuck, frustrated, in need of a fresh perspective? Don't want to go another year just thinking about that brilliant idea? Well, have no fear. Your struggle stops here. What you need is a brilliant brainstorm to help you begin flowing in your brilliant zone again. If you're ready, we're waiting. Schedule a brilliant brainstorm with members of our Gym Makers team to help you get unstuck today.
Welcome back. Now, if you just joined us, great. Jump on in, honey, because this conversation is getting really, really good. If you've been rocking with us from the start of this show, awesome. We are so incredibly happy. You would know that we have two amazing guests, Dr. Rhonda Anderson and Miss Deirdra Cox. All right. They've already talked about who they are, what they do. If you didn't get it, oh Lord, please go back and rewind. Please go back. Now, we are going to bring this conversation into talking about one of our favorite subjects of the month. This is all about goals. Again, we've been talking about setting personal goals, setting spiritual goals, and now we're bringing it into the business goals. You've heard what they do. These are partners. These are purpose partners. Like this one over here is my purpose partner. These two down here are purpose partners, and they are on a mission. So we thought we would ask them some questions to give us some of the greatest advice that helps them to be in this amazing partnership. So ladies, what should our viewers know about setting strategic business goals? What do you think that the best advice that you could give them about thinking about that?
I'll let Dr. Rhonda go ahead and take that lead.
Oh, well, when it comes to setting business goals, my best advice is one, to understand what the client is asking for, what your clients are looking for, right? And what transformation are you going to achieve out of it? What transformation can you give your client, right? So if it's going to be community economic development, how can we bring high impact outcomes? That is always our MO when it comes to us dealing with our clients. It's how can we give the best transformation for both sides? Because dealing in community economic development, we deal with the corporate partner who's wanting the initiative created, but we also deal with the communities that they serve. And so we don't want it to be a checkbox. I mean, people know that about me and Deirdra. We're not doing a checkbox. We're doing transformation so that it's a win-win. So when you're setting those business goals, how can you create a win-win experience for your clients?
I love that, Dr. Rhonda. I think that's so important to keep that at the forefront, right? It's really the reason why you're in business, reason why you're doing what you're doing is starting with who you're doing it for and the outcome that you want for them.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely right. I love it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say this, that from a kingdom building standpoint, right? Because we are all Proverbs 31 women on this call. So from a kingdom building standpoint, when you know who you are, your purpose, because God defines for each of us our purpose. And I think it's so important, ladies, that before we take on a business partner, because Dr. Rhonda and I, we had some experiences prior to meeting where we had to really identify our purpose, who we were and whose we are, right? So understanding that you got to be like-minded with like-minded kingdom builders. Because can I just say this, as a kingdom builder, everybody doesn't have the same alignment. So you can still be called to be a kingdom builder. See, Dr. Rhonda and I, she was not an economic developer when I met her. However, she was in higher ed. So that's a kingdom building principle from a socioeconomic perspective, because education does determine where you go from a professional development standpoint.
Yes.
But we knew that we were like-minded. So, and we knew that we were spirit-minded. So if I can just say this, be spirit-minded, be like-minded, be kingdom-minded. And one of the things, Dennis Byron, I'm going to throw his name out there. He's a wonderful mentor to me. But Dennis always says, have 3 reasons why you do something. And Rhonda and I are able to identify 3 reasons why we are connected as business partners. So that's what I'll say. And that's been true. And it's manifest just abundant resources for us.
That's powerful. I love that. And when I think of what you just said, Simon Sinek says, what's your why, right? Start with why. And I love that. Don't let me nerd out over here because I'll start getting all up in there. So,
So I have a question for you ladies, because, and it kind of ties right into what you were talking about, Deirdra. And that is when you think about entering into some type of partnership or even a business collaboration. Maybe it's not a legal partnership, but going into business and doing purpose with other people.
Yeah.
What are some of the essential things that are required with people? I understand that vision, a shared vision, and a passion, and understanding who you're serving. But what are some additional things that have helped to make your partnership successful?
I'm going to jump in here right now because listen, Rhonda and I, so I know we're not supposed to talk about fasting, but Rhonda and I are fasting together right now because at the end of the day, spiritually, you got to be connected.
Come
Yes.
on.
Because if you're not walking in your spiritual purpose, you are all off in the ditch. I remember coming off of 85 one time. Listen, this was 6 years ago. I came off of 85. Look, my tires were not in the shape they needed to be. I was supposed to be going to a big event with the Gwinnett school system, and I went off in a ditch in a white suit. What?
Mm.
So it was a mess when you are not rightly aligned
Mhm.
and you're not aligned with purpose spiritually. I'm not going to apologize for this, but being spiritually aligned is critically important because
Yes.
iron sharpens iron. Two or
Yes.
more gathered together in His name. Listen, He'll do anything. Ron and I have been spiritually aligned since we met,
I
and we didn't
love
even
it.
know it because we thought we were supposed to be connected through other people, and
Right.
God said, "This is what I did." And when we recognize that this is what He did, then the exponential exploits happen. So
Yes,
just for the
yes,
spiritual
yes,
is
yes.
critical.
And just one other thing is that your partner has to always know you got their back, that you're going to show up
Come on.
when it's
Come on.
time to show up, right?
Mm.
I have no doubt that when we step somewhere, I don't have to worry about Deirdre showing up because I know she's going to
Yes.
show up and do what she says she's going to do. So for me, integrity in your word when it comes to partnership, dependability, those things matter.
They do.
They
They
matter
do.
so
Yeah.
much. And when you talk about being a purpose partner, to me, I feel like that's not an easy or light label that you give one another. It
No.
literally means that your purposes they're connected and God has aligned. And
Yes.
Dr. Nicole and I, we know when we're out of alignment. We know. We'll say, you know what? We need to stop. We need to pray right now.
Yes.
Pray.
Yes.
Because we need to press in something, and God has us walking together in this journey. And so we need to know those times when we are not feeling aligned, and to have the wisdom, the forethought to bring him into this right now as we're feeling some kind of way. So I think when I say purpose partner, it is not to be taken lightly, because she truly is my purpose partner in all things. So my God.
Okay.
Right hands down.
Okay.
Kind of jacked up, but there you go. Yeah, there you go, Deirdre.
There you go, Dr. J. There you go, Dr. Nicole. Yes, there you go, Dr. Rhonda. Yes.
I love it.
That thing is real.
So we've got much more to talk about, ladies, because again, my God, I feel like we can do a 3-parter, but we are going to have to take a moment and pause, pay some bills, and we will come right back after this break.
Are you looking to start that new business, create new strategies, or stretch beyond where you are right now? Well, look no further. Gym Makers LLC is a coaching and consulting company committed to empowering ladies, leaders, and little girls.
Welcome back. All right, ladies, we have been rocking with two of the most dynamic, let me just call them the dynamic duo. Y'all see them. Oh gosh, y'all missed it. Listen, during the break, we had a great conversation. We want to bring it right to the forefront. So we're going to jump right in. If you missed anything, just rewind it back, honey, and catch on up. So we're rocking with Dr. Rhonda Anderson and Mrs. Deirdra Cox. Yes. Ladies, quick question. I don't know if it's going to be quick, because we can bump our gums and talk like my granny. We're going to try. We're going to try. So we've been talking, you guys have been giving some wonderful tips about being in partnership and what it looks like, and goals and in business. And so let's turn our attention to this. what advice would you give to those who are contemplating aligning their gifts with a partner, but are a little bit apprehensive? Not sure if they should or not. They might want to go it alone, just don't know just yet. Right partnership, what that looks like. What advice would you give them?
Dr. Rhonda?
Oh, I was gonna let you go first, Deirdre.
So I'll just say this. When I started CSE, I was on some other stuff, right? So, we all, it's a process, okay? So, I thought it was about me because of where I had been in my life growing up. And what I quickly learned is that it's not all about me, because it's about God's kingdom. And he said that iron sharpens iron. I wasn't very trusting because of, again, things I had been through in my life. But at the end of the day, you can't stay stuck where you were, because it's about moving forward. When I met Rhonda, Rhonda had such a genuine and sincere spirit, and we had both been wounded. So we both came in that gracefully broken space, and we literally submitted ourselves to God, our gracefully broken selves. And what I watched God do was bring us together for each other. And I'm still watching him do that in such a brilliant, beautiful way. So for me, this is a spiritual journey. It's a process. It's about the why. What's your why? What's my why? Do you know your godly purpose? Do you fast? Do you pray? What's that look like? And what we looked at is that the behaviors and the attitudes, the habitudes that we both have that sustain our lifestyle, they were similar, they were the same. And that's, for me, that's why we are where we are. That's what attracted me to her and what caused me to continue to go further.
Love it.
And I'm gonna be quick because after I had gone through my hurt, right? My mom and D, you know Elder Tina Smith. That's my mom. That's my mom up here, right? I went to her, about what I had gone through, and she was like, "Let me tell you this. Anything that anybody's gonna do for God, it is not about one individual. One individual is not gonna go far when they're trying to do a great work for God." And she left it at that. And she, at that time, my mind turned about partnership, because at one time I was just like about throwing in the towel, done, over it, right? Because it's so hard, it's hard. And I just didn't want to go back through that again. But when she said that to me, it was a time when me and Deirdre was forming our relationship. So I just sat back and kind of did projects here, there, here and there. And it was so perfect. It was like, sort of like the moment you guys had at the park, when you were at the park and you told her about your anointing, right? It was so funny. We got together to plan a creek, and she was like, "I really want you to become my partner." And I was thinking the same thing in my head. And I think we had that conversation. It was like, I was thinking the same thing. I think it'll be great, but it was perfect timing. So I'll tell anybody, if there's somebody that you're wanting to partner with, do short-term projects with them for a while.
Love
True
that.
person will show up. I'm just saying.
Yep.
So short-term projects is a very good way to test the water.
And I'm just going to say this last thing. What Rhonda and I have watched over the last 2 years, our business model has grown. God has grown us exponentially. So we've been able to hire more coaches. God has expanded us from Atlanta into Florida and South Carolina. Jesus did that because we trusted him. We trusted him. So when you're with the right partner, the multiplication effect will manifest itself.
And the thing that I really admire about you all, with all your transparency, is both of you spent time doing your own work, following God's path, developing your spirit, your pathway. So when you came together, Dr. Rhonda, you were clear on God's purpose and plan for your life. And then Deirdra, you were doing the same thing. Little did you all know God would bring you all together for such a time as this. So I think that it's beautiful. And for anyone who is listening out there, who are looking, who are on the edge, you've already written out. God has already spoken in your spirit. You've written it out, but you don't know that who that is, or maybe you do. You've been a little apprehensive and not really sure. Follow the Spirit. Where God guides, He provides. And it may not always be packaged the way that you think it is. So it may not be that influencer or that popular person, or they may not dress a certain way. You never know how God is going to bless you, but He will give you your instructions. I'm so grateful for my purpose partner, and I'm so grateful for these two sisters that we get to now do life with and encourage and support and promote the great work that they're doing. So
I love it. I think you just brought the brilliant blessing, sis. I really do. I think that was it.
I do have a brilliant blessing that I do have a word of God that I want to leave the ladies and gentlemen who may be listening with this word. Those of you that do not know, we like to close out our show with what we call the brilliant blessing. And I want to take people to Ecclesiastes 4:9, which reads, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And I bring up that 3 strand because right here we have Dr. Rhonda, we have Deirdra, but that 3rd strand, as they have so clearly said, is God. So if you are entering into a partnership, invite Him to that partnership, because a 3-strand cord is not easily broken. So
that's right. Yes.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. So that was improving time and time again for us.
Yes. And yes, it was a bonus brilliant blessing because she gave us 2. That's what happened there. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Rhonda Anderson. And thank you, Mrs. Deirdra Cox. We are so incredibly blessed by your presence, the brilliance that you brought to this show. You are amazing. And for those of you who have just joined us or started rocking with us, check us out at the Beyond Brilliant Network. Plug in. You need to be a part of our community. And if you need to be, blessed by anything, we need to ask these ladies where we can follow them. So ladies, please let us know where they can follow you, get connected, because I know that they were blessed by many things that you said today.
Share CSC stuff.
So Community Sustainability Enterprise, you can find us on Facebook at CSE Develops. You can also find us on LinkedIn at Deirdra Cox, DEIRDRA Cox. And you can also find us on the internet at www.community, COMMUNITYS, as in Sam, E as in Edward.org, where we share all that we're doing out in the community.
I love it. All right, you heard it here. Now, we'd like to close our show the same way every time and like to leave you with this. Be bold,
be brave, and be
brilliant. See you next time.
For more information, show ideas, or to be a guest on our show, please visit www.beyondbrilliantbroadcast.com.